Kira here with another video using my stash kit. This time I'm going to be doing a layout. I just printed off this picture of my son Elliot. He's looking out the window at some birds, and he's just the happiest baby. You know, I have two kids. If you're new to this channel, I have two kids. I have my son Jonathan, who is 2.5 years old now, and then my son Elliot, who's in this picture, is 10 months old. And when we had Jonathan, we just thought that we were so lucky that we just had such an easy baby. Jonathan was so laid back. He was just, there's everything about him was easy. We had no, sleeping was good, and he ate really well, and he wasn't fussy. He barely cried. He was just such an easy baby. And then when I got pregnant with Elliot, we were convinced that we were going to have this horrible baby, that he was just going to be everything Jonathan wasn't, was kind of our thought, because there's no way that we could possibly have two good babies. And then Elliot was born, and Elliot is like an easier baby, if that's even possible. He's happy all the time. He's like the most laid back baby ever. He doesn't require a whole lot of attention. Jonathan's a toddler, so Jonathan now requires more attention than he did as a baby. But Elliot is he's just the most chill, laid back baby, and he's always so happy. So I took this picture of him, he's just looking outside watching birds, and he's just got this huge smile on his face. And I just wanted to kind of document what a happy baby he is right now. So I decided to kind of go in a diagonal down the page. I put my picture, matted it on some of that minty green paper with the little plus signs on it, I guess, crosses, I don't know, whatever you want to call them. And then I popped that up on some fun foam. And then I'm just going to go ahead and just kind of layer some ephemera kind of in a diagonal pattern down the page. And these are all things from my stash kit. I'll link that video below if you haven't seen it yet, because everything is just pulled from a bunch of different collections. So a lot of it is just, like I said, from my stash, cut aparts and pieces of ephemera, flare button from one of my pen pals, some chipboard pieces. It's just all stuff from my stash. And I'm actually doing a really good job of kind of using a lot of it. So I'm pretty proud of myself with this series we've got going here. So there's not really too much to talk about here. I'm just kind of placing things where I think they look good. I will say I did make a mistake while making this, because this picture was taken on the 30th of January. And I even stamped the date next to the picture as the 30th of January, because that's when it was taken. But if you notice in the upper left-hand corner, that little calendar is a February calendar. And it's just because that's what I put in my stash kit, because I was doing a, February Valentine's Day themed kit. And so I decided to pull in that February calendar, and I didn't really think about the fact that I would probably be using a picture that was taken previously before the month of February. But it's on there, it's glued down now. There's not much more I can do about it, and I'm not going to change it. So it is what it is. Now I'm just trying to pull in some chipboard. I try to, if I use something somewhere in my layout, I like to use it at least in one other spot. So I have that chipboard that says love at the top. So I wanted to bring some chipboard down the bottom, and it just happens to say love as well. I have a tiny word sticker up top that says "so handsome." So I brought in another tiny word sticker phrase down at the bottom. There's a couple pieces of like gold up top, but I didn't really have anything towards the bottom, so I brought that gold heart in there and put that down at the bottom. The thing that I didn't like about this layout was that it was a little too plain, where I didn't put the ephemera, so it's just kind of a cross the white part, and then there was nothing there, so I decided to put some splatters. I don't know that I love the splatters, especially looking at it now. I don't know that I really love it that much, but it's there. I'm not changing it now. So using some of my DIY ephemera that I made in my previous video, and I just kind of wanted to ground that photo a little bit more, because since I did have the ephemera on the corners, I kind of wanted to ground it on the other corners. There is my date stamp, and like I said, it was January 30th, not February. And then I was trying to think of a title. I almost just didn't even title this because I have so many like love and love you and word phrases, and you guys know how I am with titling my layouts. I'm just like the worst at thinking of titles, but I decided to title this one All Smiles, because that's literally what Elliot is all the time. It's just this happy, smiley guy. And so I tried to figure out where I wanted to place it, and I decided that I was going to place it on top of the photo. Since I had kind of grounded it on the bottom, I wanted something up top, which I think looked fine, but the word smiles kind of hangs off of the picture, and I felt like it needed something to kind of ground that as well. You know what I really need is one of those T-square rulers. That would be super helpful in putting my titles down, because I fussed around with this for a while till I got it. Well, it probably wasn't even perfect, but it was good enough. And then those stickers, I know I've talked about them in previous videos. They have to be glued down because they are like not sticky at all. So I took a little label. It's also for my kit, and I went ahead and put that kind of poking out of the picture, so then the smiles would have something to kind of rest on. And then I decided it needed something else on that because it looked a little weird to me. So I did a couple of these little like enamel hearts from Target and just stuck those on there. I had tried to hand journal on this little piece of ephemera. It says, "I love you more than," and then ... And I tried to journal on it and I messed up. So I just typed up some journaling and pasted over top, which turned out just fine. And I just put like, "I love you more than candy bars, ice cream, and pizza," I believe is what I typed up. I love him more than a lot more than just that, but I just thought it was cute. So here's some close-ups, and if you have any questions, list them in the comments below. And if you haven't watched any of my previous videos in this series, I will link them below as well. Thanks for watching. Have a good day. Bye.